Everyone in this world will turn into the last animal they ate. Some people eat chicken legs and turn into chickens. There are also people who ate instant noodle seasoning and ended up turning into a cow. What's even crazier, some ate stew cooked with fossils and turned into rampaging dinosaurs right on the spot. This is all because humans have been destroying the environment recklessly. So the will of the earth issued a warning. In 24 hours, all humans will turn into the last animal they consumed. If you remember correctly, the last thing you ate was takeout fried chicken. That's an animal at the very bottom of the food chain. When the global animal transformation hits, you'll become prey right away, just as you're worrying about this. Your best buddy Wang Shouheng comes to find you. Unlike you who's super anxious, he's weirdly excited. Because the will of the earth only said people will turn into the last animal they ate. It never specified it has to be a modern animal. His family runs a construction company. Just a few days ago, when they were working in a mountain village, they actually dug up a T-Rex fossil. If you can eat that fossil, you'll be a top-tier apex predator. Elephants, Siberian tigers, they'll all just be your food. So you and Wang Shouheng talk it over and immediately drive to that village. But once you arrive at the destination, Mr. Z, who guards the T-Rex fossil, goes back on his word right away. You have to know, the will of the earth can be heard by everyone, let alone Mr. Sai. After he heard the news about the global animal transformation, he immediately had people secure the T-Rex fossil. Right now, Mr. Z smirks and says, "Forget about getting the T-Rex fossil. I've got other good stuff prepared for you two." After that, he tells someone to bring over a fish tank, and inside it is a bright green turtle. Then you two get locked up in the firewood shed, looking at the doors and windows that are all nailed shut. Wang Shouheng immediately loses all will to live. Luckily, the last thing he ate last night was an alligator snapping turtle. Sure, it's still a type of turtle, but alligator snapping turtles can grow up to 200 kilograms. Their defense and attack power are also pretty outstanding. You open the backpack you brought with you, only to find there's only a pack of instant noodles and a ham sausage inside. If you pick the seasoning pack, you'll turn into a cow. If you pick the ham sausage, you'll turn into a pig. But both of these are super low combat power animals. But the good news is, you can at least leech off your buddy. But then you think again, humans are a type of animal too, right? What would happen if you eat a part of yourself? Either way, the worst result is better than turning into a cow or a pig. So in the last second before the global transformation, you bite down hard on your own arm. Then the will of the earth makes all humans pass out. Their bodies start to twist and transform, reshape and turn into all kinds of animals. But here's the thing to note. People don't turn directly into adult forms. They all turn into baby forms of the animals. They can only evolve by constantly eating other creatures. When your best buddy Wang Shouheng wakes up again, he really has turned into an alligator snapping turtle. He looks left and right, but can't find you anywhere. It's not until he turns around that he sees a head-sized egg behind him. There are faint patterns on the surface of the egg that glisten every now and then. At the same time, you're totally confused. You never thought that just taking a bite of yourself would turn you into a dragon egg. Even though you're now an egg, you can still see everything outside clearly. With a full 360-degree view, no blind spots at all. Just as you're still in shock, you hear a system voice in your head. "Congratulations, host, you have obtained a dragon body. Huaxia Divine Dragon System is officially activated. You are currently in the incubation period, which will last 10,000 years. Upon seeing this, you snicker. Guess being a descendant of the dragon really counts. You have real dragon blood in your veins, even though hatching takes 10,000 years. You can unlock it early by constantly hunting other creatures. At the same time, you also get 2 innate skills. The first one is Thunder Body Protection. You can summon Divine Punishment Thunder to deal massive wide-range damage. The second one is Dragon Aura. Dragons are born with Supreme Aura, which has a suppressing effect on most creatures. Right now, your best buddy Wang Shouheng is shocked and asks you what the hell you ate. To avoid unnecessary trouble, you lie and say that last night, you actually ate an ostrich egg. Just as the two of you are talking, a roar comes from outside the door. The door to the cottage is opened, and a ferocious beast pokes its head inside. Yep, that's Mr. Z who turned into a T-Rex. Even though he's also in baby form, but he's already as tall as an adult. Right now, he's yelling at the top of his lungs. "Wang Qili, I've hated your rich parents for ages. Today, I'm gonna make turtle soup to boost my energy." Then the group that turned into stray dogs, villagers all swarmed over. Even though they had strength in numbers, the moment they saw the spiky turtle shell and the fierce snapper turtle head, they didn't dare move forward for a second. But under Mr. Crab's coercion, One bigger stray dog still charged forward. When Wang Xiaoheng saw this, he attacked right away and bit straight at the dog. With a sharp yelp of pain, a chunk of the villager's nose got bitten off instantly. You gotta know, a snapper's bite force can hit a crazy 450 kilograms. Mr. Crab was furious at this point. His goons can't even beat a single turtle. That's so humiliating for him, so he just ate the injured stray dog whole, then roared up at the sky and decided to take matters into his own hands. This super brutal scene made all the surrounding villagers tuck their tails and tremble with fear. Wang Xiaoheng wasn't doing much better either. Looks like at this critical moment, you had to step in yourself. So you calmed down immediately and started sensing the rules of the universe. Right now above the village, the sky was perfectly clear a second ago, but suddenly it's completely covered with dark clouds. Just as Mr. Crab crouched down to bite Wang Xiaoheng, you yelled out loud, "Thunder Shield." Then from the cloud-covered sky, a bolt of lightning suddenly struck down. Tons of animals got hit instantly and dropped dead on the spot. You and Wang Xiaoheng were at the center of the thunder, but you were wrapped in dragon aura, so you didn't get hurt at all. But Mr. Crab wasn't that lucky. With an extremely pained scream, his whole body's skin and flesh burst open. Congratulations, host, you killed 25 simps. You gained 25 evolution points. Killed one ancient T-Rex. Gained 100 evolution points. You had absolutely no idea the Thunder Shield would have such ridiculously strong power. You thought it was only a single target attack, but you had no idea it was an AoE attack. On top of that, its absurd power was way beyond your expectations. If you keep going at this rate, you can totally hatch within a year. Since this was your first kill, the system also rewarded you with a talent spin. After spinning really fast, the pointer landed on a talent called Dragon's Rage. Even though you had no clue what this skill does, but judging by how much spiritual energy it uses and its badass name, it can't be too bad. Originally, you planned to take Wang Xiaoheng to a remote place to lay low until you hatch, then go on a killing spree. But looks like you need to change your plan now. The new plan is kill anyone that comes your way. So Wang Xiaoheng carried you and headed out of the village. But when you passed a patch of grass, a palm-sized rat popped out, seemingly foraging at night. Wang Xiaoheng wanted to evolve, so he suddenly opened his mouth and ate the rat whole. Then in Wang Xiaoheng's mind, there was an extra evolution point that he can add to his evolution genes. This made Wang Xiaoheng super excited. If he hadn't turned into a turtle, he would have busted out a cringy street dance right there. Then under your guidance, Wang Xiaoheng put the evolution point into defense. Snappers already have super strong bite force. There's no need to add unnecessary improvements. But juvenile turtle shells aren't that hard, so defense is the best pick. The second the evolution point was used, the turtle shell made a bone-cracking noise. Then at a visible speed, it grew thicker and sturdier. Then the two of you kept moving. After 3 days of trekking over mountains, you finally once again saw the bustling, brightly lit city. You thought after all humans turned into animals, all these things would disappear, but they're still here unexpectedly, like a continuation of human civilization. But when you reached the city gate, a pack of vicious dogs blocked your way. When Wang Xiaoheng saw this, he immediately opened his big mouth to scare off these uninvited guests. Luckily, these dogs didn't mean any harm. After a quick chat, you found out they're from the vicious dog gang. While Wang Xiaoheng was talking to them, you were sizing up the pack. They all seemed to have reached the growth stage. Sure enough, evolving is easier in the city. After all, there are way more people here. The vicious dog gang said at this point, if you want to enter the city, you have to pay a protection fee. Turns out on the second day of global animalization, someone was shocked to find that evolution points could be given away directly. That means besides killing, you could also make others hand them over obediently. But the main source of evolution points is still killing. But herbivores can get evolution points by eating grass. So they were raised in captivity by carnivores, exploited of their points every single day. To avoid unnecessary trouble, you guys paid 8 evolution points to get in. But you've already made up your mind. Once you enter the vicious dog gang's turf, you'll find a chance to lure all these dogs close to your position, then blast them with your Thunder Body armor skill. After entering the city, you looked at the scene in front of you with total disbelief on your faces. It felt like you were back before the animalization event. It wasn't exactly perfectly organized, but it wasn't a total mess either. There were all kinds of animals on the road, including lots of vicious dogs patrolling around. They acted like law enforcers, keeping order in this city. While you were still in shock, a pure white rabbit suddenly hopped next to Wang Xiaoheng. scaring him so bad he almost retreated back into his turtle shell. This rabbit is called Chungnyanyan. She saw you were first-time visitors and wanted to help, but her shifty eyes didn't escape your notice. You didn't call her out on it, though. You just wanted to see what she was up to, so you accepted Chungnyanyan's warm invitation and headed to her home. But after a while, Wang Xiaoheng noticed something was off. We were getting further and further away from the city, but Chungnyanyan said that herbivores like them barely have any say around here, so they all live in pretty remote areas. So she led the way, and we finally arrived at a shabby rental house. Chungnyanyan's parents were super welcoming, and they prepared dinner really quickly. Their plates had some grass on them. Wang Xiaoheng got a piece of pork. You, on the other hand, were completely ignored. But as time went by, Wang Xiaoheng's vision got blurrier and blurrier, until he finally passed out. Turns out that piece of pork was spiked, specifically to lure Wang Xiaoheng into their trap. Their goal obviously was to hand you over to the vicious dog gang, so they could get the right to leave the city freely. You saw the whole thing go down, of course. Talk about a total stroke of luck. I got what I wanted without even trying. If I just get to the vicious dog gang's base, use the thunder body armor once, I can wipe them all out in one go. A little while later, Chungnyanyan brought you to the vicious dog gang's boss, Black Hound King. You used your mental perception and found that he was a cane corso, even though he was still in the growth stage. He was actually bigger than a fully grown adult cane corso. The Black Hound King's name is Chu Fan. He used to be a professional boxer, but he got injured during a fight. So stuck in the hospital, he had no choice but to grab a nearby cane corso. Then when the animalization event happened, a miracle occurred. All the wounds all over his body healed completely right away. Even though he turned into a dog, being a cane corso wasn't that bad. He relied on his fighting instincts and easily defeated all his enemies. That's how he became the Black Hound King. Right now, he licked the corner of his mouth. He had already eaten dinner, but when he saw this egg, he felt like he still had room to eat something, so he couldn't wait to open his mouth, to swallow you whole. But the next second, an extremely powerful aura burst out from the egg. The Black Hound King was immediately pinned to the ground by the pressure. Then your voice boomed like a bell. Lowly creature, kneel before your ruler. Just those few words gave the Black Hound King internal injuries. His bones even made cracking, grinding sounds. The other hounds outside heard the screams, and just as they got close to this spot, they were pinned to the ground by the dragon aura. Then you spoke again, ordering the Black Hound King to gather all his underlings here. What you didn't expect was he actually relied on his own willpower to slowly stand up. Seeing this, you stopped holding back and unleashed your full dragon aura again. The Black Hound King immediately didn't dare struggle anymore because he could feel his willpower was on the verge of collapsing. Once all members of the vicious dog gang arrived, you stopped unleashing the dragon aura. The Black Hound King looked completely drained. He was obviously totally exhausted. Then he asked in a terrified voice, "What do you want to get from them?" At first you planned to wipe them out, but now you've changed your mind, because the vicious dog gang managed to evolve this far in just a few days. That's because there's a group of herbivorous animals they can exploit endlessly. You can do the exact same thing. If you do that, your hatching speed will definitely skyrocket. So you give them two choices: either submit to you, or get sent straight to hell. After seeing your terrifying power, they chose to submit without hesitation. What's more, the Black Dog King gave all his remaining evolution points to you. This immediately cut your hatching time from 10,000 years to 9,090 years straight. Since this is your first time using evolution points to accelerate, the system rewarded you with another talent roulette spin. You drew a talent called Aura Circulation. This talent lets the dragon egg breathe to generate 100 aura points per day on its own. That is to say, you can now stay far away from the city and lie low for 2 or 3 years to hatch successfully, with zero risk at all. But in this day and age, the world's order changes drastically every single day. You can't wait that long. Then you officially rename the vicious dog gang to Dragon Nest. Everything in Dragon Nest is still fully managed by the Black Dog King. Hearing this, the Black Dog King's eyes lit up again. Your move completely won him over. He immediately started calling you boss right there. Later, from what the Black Dog King told you, you finally got the full picture of the city's situation. Turns out Jinhai City is now split between 3 forces, and the Dragon Nest you lead is one of them. The other 2 are the Cat Gang, led by Merlin Cat, and the Rat Gang, led by the Rat King. The name Rat Gang left you a little speechless. Who the hell would eat a rat? But that Rat King guy is a total badass. Right before the animalization event, Everyone was looking for larger animals, but he chose a rat instead. Because throughout human history, rats can survive all kinds of extreme, harsh environments perfectly well. So at the last second of animalization, he swallowed the rat down despite the nausea. After he transformed, he immediately led his rat army to quickly take over all the sewers in the city. Just when you were worrying about how to take them out, the former strategist of the vicious dog gang stepped forward, and it turned out to be a husky. His plan is pretty simple. First, lure the cats and rats to a hidden location, then burn them all to death. You looked at the smug, mysterious-looking husky and immediately pointed out the flaw in his plan. How do you lure them into the trap without a big enough bait? This plan is totally useless. But then you thought for a second, speaking of attractive bait, what could be better than you? So to test this out, you stopped hiding your aura. You instantly emitted a dazzling glow. All the dogs around immediately started drooling with desire. You were very satisfied with this reaction. Aren't you the perfect ready-made bait? Just when you were discussing the next steps, your good buddy Wang Xiaoheng was brought in by your underlings. Turns out Wang Xiaoheng woke up this morning and found you were gone from his back. He was so worried that he immediately surrounded the rabbit family. After coercing a confession out of them, he found out you had been taken to the vicious dog gang. Wang Xiaoheng instantly felt extremely guilty. If he hadn't been such a glutton, none of this would have happened. Then under his threats, Cheng Nianian brought him here. The second he saw you, he ran over excitedly, but also completely shocked. How did you, a mere egg, become the leader of the vicious dog gang? But thinking back to the last Heavenly Thunder, he seemed to figure it out. You were also really happy with how Wang Xiaoheng acted. This is what a real bro is like. Even knowing the vicious dog gang was full of danger, he still came to look for you. After you briefly explained everything to Wang Xiaoheng, he immediately shouted, "Cut the crap. Just summon the Heavenly Thunder to strike them dead." But you just grinned and said you had a better plan. After all, using Heavenly Thunder protection consumes aura. Time fast-forwarded to the third day. A super exciting rumor suddenly started spreading around the city that the leader of the vicious dog gang had gotten a glowing egg. The egg was shimmering with colorful light all over. It didn't look like something from the mortal world at all. Lots of people guessed it was probably a dragon egg. If a regular animal eats it, it can gain the dragon's bloodline. As soon as this news spread, it caused a huge sensation across the whole city. All forces immediately got ready to make a move and started taking action one after another. On the other side, the rat gang and the cat gang, after learning that the dragon egg exists, both started scheming to get it, because any regular animal that eats it can get the dragon's bloodline, given how strong the vicious dogs are. The two gangs decided to work together and agreed to steal the egg together. Their plan is pretty simple. The cat gang is in charge of drawing fire from the front, while the rat gang steals the dragon egg through sewers. What they don't know, though, is that you have already set up an ambush, just waiting for them to walk into the trap. Meanwhile, on your end, even though you stay in the warehouse every day, the Black Hound King comes by daily to hand over all the collected evolution points to you. You don't take all of it, though. You only keep 80%, because the Black Hound King also needs to improve his strength. Otherwise, he can't keep control of this huge territory. And it's not just him. All the former members of the vicious dog gang, and those captive herbivores too, under your instruction, besides handing over most of their evolution points every day, they can keep a small portion for themselves, to improve their own strength. Besides, herbivores that reach the growth stage can earn even more evolution points every day. It's such a good deal for everyone. The Black Hound King came just like usual, to deliver today's batch of evolution points. But what confused you was that the amount you received today was actually twice as much as yesterday's. Turns out after you announced the new rules, lots of herbivores under other forces snuck over to join the dragon nest. Even though they still get exploited, at least they can keep a little for themselves. So with this kind of incentive, the number of herbivores in the dragon nest's territory is way higher than before. So the total evolution points naturally increase too. After you figured out the whole story, you told the Black Hound King again not to restrict their movements. Let the herbivores live as freely as possible. That way they won't rise up and rebel. But if anyone causes trouble, you still need to pick a few once in a while to punish as a warning to everyone else. After the Black Hound King left, you looked at the evolution points just handed over and took half without hesitation. To speed up the egg hatching process, you used the rest for the lucky draw. After all, besides hatching, talents are the only way you can improve your strength right now. You activated the talent wheel, and the pointer started spinning super fast. It finally landed on a talent called Dragon Soul Pact. When the host activates this talent, they can form a master-servant pact with creatures that have lower bloodline levels than them. The contracted creature can never break free from the control. Seeing such an awesome talent, you almost screamed in excitement. Even though you have all kinds of powerful skills, you're still just an egg right now. So before you hatch successfully, you have to build an organization you can trust. Up until now, the only person you trust is Wang Xiaoheng. None of the other dogs from the vicious dog gang are trustworthy at all. They only yielded temporarily after all. If something goes wrong, they will definitely betray you immediately. This newly acquired talent perfectly solves your most urgent problem right now. As time came to early morning, the dragon nest got some uninvited guests. The cat boss showed up with a bunch of his underlings, aggressively marching right to the front gate. Before they could even start yelling threats, the vicious dogs who already got the warning popped out from every direction immediately, like they fell from the sky and completely surrounded them with no way out. Then the Black Hound King walked out surrounded by all the other dogs. But the first second he saw the cat boss, he frowned, because in just a few days, the other guy's size had grown a whole circle bigger, almost the same size as him now. Before the animal mutation, dogs could easily beat cats, entirely because of their size advantage. But if they are the same size, cats have faster reaction speed and better movement, and are way more agile than dogs. Just as the Black Hound King was thinking this over, the cat boss's eyes turned cold. He twisted his body in an exaggerated position, and immediately jumped high into the air. A sharp glint flashed by, and one dog had its throat slit right on the spot. The cat boss's sudden attack caught the Black Hound King completely off guard. He never would have guessed that the opponent's speed was this shockingly fast, but he can't afford to overthink that right now. After letting out a long roar towards the sky, he also dashed forward at full speed. The two groups immediately got into a chaotic, brutal fight, and since Boss Cat has been exploiting the herbivores, his side's forces are clearly way stronger than the troops on Long Chao's side, even though the two sides are evenly matched for now. But if things keep going this way, defeat is just a matter of time for Long Chao. At the same time, inside the warehouse, Rat King snuck in quietly with a bunch of his underlings. The second he spotted the egg on the table, he couldn't take his eyes off it at all. Because the more powerful an animal is, the better they can sense how extraordinary you are. Right now, in Rat King's mind, there was an extremely tempting voice telling him to go eat it right away, but he had barely taken 2 steps forward when Rat King suddenly bit his own tongue, forcing himself to snap out of the trance. Because the second he got close to the dragon egg, a strong sense of impending danger suddenly rose up in his heart. That immediately put Rat King on high alert, and you who were inside the dragon egg right now were also confused by his weird reaction. You were just waiting for this guy to get closer, so you could kill him instantly. But you had just locked onto his aura, and he already noticed something was off. Looks like this guy's strength is definitely way higher than Black Dog King and Boss Cat's, not even just by a little bit. Right then, the sneaky Rat King told his underlings to test the waters first. All of them thought it was a nice, easy gig, but no one expected a sudden twist to happen. A roar of dragon fury rang out all of a sudden, and a 6-pointed star array formed in an instant. Orange-red flames carrying terrifying high temperatures gushed out. It swept through the entire warehouse in the blink of an eye. The few rats that had just gotten close to you didn't even get time to let out a scream before they completely vanished into the flames. This spine-chilling scene scared every rat present out of their wits. The cowardice hardwired deep in their genes made them want to run away from this hell on earth right now. But before they could even take 2 steps, another sudden change took place. A supreme oppressive force fell from the sky out of nowhere and slammed down hard on all of them. All the rats there, including Rat King, all dropped to the ground with a loud thud. Rat King struggled to lift his head and asked in complete disbelief, "Who the hell are you?" After learning that you are the new boss of the Vicious Dog Gang, he just remembered that a few days ago, the Vicious Dog Gang suddenly changed its name to Dragon's Lair. He even mocked them for it back then. But now he finally understands. They got a new leader. And after witnessing your terrifying power with his own eyes, he knew they had 0 chance of winning. Even though Rat King held back some of his strength, asking a martial artist to fight an immortal cultivator is way too much to ask of this little rat. So Rat King just flopped backward and laid flat on the spot, saying since he's fallen into your hands, he admits he's screwed. Then he closed his eyes, completely dead inside. But you didn't kill him. Instead, you gave him 2 choices. 1, die so hard there's not even a scrap left. 2, submit and serve you. When Rat King lying on the ground heard this, he immediately jumped up to his feet and chose to submit without a single second of hesitation. I swear my loyalty to you. This ridiculous scene almost made all his underlings' jaws drop to the floor. Is this still the cruel and ruthless Rat King they knew? The reason you didn't kill him is that you realize this guy, other than being super ugly, is actually a pretty talented person. Due to the mass animalization event, all previous communication devices stopped working entirely. Right now, all the information you can get is only limited to this tiny Jinhai city. As for what changes happened outside, you have absolutely no clue. Since you've decided to take the Overlord path, you have to fully grasp all of this information, and Rat King and his underlings are without a doubt the best candidates for intelligence work. Because rats have small bodies, they can sneak in completely undetected into other settlements to gather intel, and their strong adaptability is enough to let them survive in all kinds of extreme environments. They are literally born intelligence agents. So to test Rat King's loyalty, you told him to show you his sincerity. After hearing this, he bowed his head and thought for a moment, and said he would go kill Boss Cat. That should be enough to prove his loyalty. After seeing you nod in agreement, Rat King turned into a dark shadow and darted out of the warehouse. At the same time, at the front gate of Dragon's Lair, Boss Cat had completely fought himself into a blind rage and totally forgot about their deal to steal the dragon egg. They only needed to stall for time. There was no need to fight this hard at all. But once the fight actually starts, who cares about that stuff anymore? The Dragon Clan was clearly on the verge of defeat. Right now, Boss Cat only has one thought on his mind, and that's to take down the opponent in one go, then wipe out that bunch of stinky rats. But right at that moment, an extremely fast dark shadow zoomed over and reached the center of the battlefield in just a split second. When it came to a stop, all the cats and dogs present finally got a clear look. It was actually a rat as big as a dog. This sudden turn of events left all the animals completely dumbfounded. Is this rat some kind of monster? How'd it get so huge? Boss Cat immediately recognized it as the Rat King. He had no idea how it got so big, but there was no time to ask around. Right now, he just wanted to team up with it to wipe out these dumb dogs. But before Boss Cat could even speak, he suddenly let out a miserable scream. Turns out the Rat King standing in front of him attacked without any warning at all. Its sharp teeth took barely a second to bite right through his throat. After a short moment, the Rat King finally let go of its jaws, then dragged the corpse away and vanished again. With Boss Cat dead, the Black Dog King became the strongest fighter on the scene. So under his command, all these cats were completely subdued in no time. Meanwhile, you were waiting in the warehouse. The reason you dared to let the Rat King go was that you'd spent your free time the past few days figuring out new ways to use your innate skills. For example, you can seal the Heavenly Thunder Barrier inside your good buddy Wang Xiaoheng's body. All he has to do is think about it, and he can activate it right away. But since he doesn't have dragon bloodline, using the Heavenly Thunder Barrier will cost him a heavy price. As for Dragon's Rage, you found an even more overpowered way to use it. Once you lock onto a certain aura, Dragon's Rage will automatically track it down. There's nowhere to run from it. Just now in the warehouse, you already locked onto the Rat King's aura. If it didn't come back within 3 minutes, or you sensed it was about to run away, you would have unleashed Dragon's Rage without hesitation. But right at this moment, the warehouse door was violently slammed open. The Rat King was dragging Boss Cat's corpse and charged straight inside. After getting your approval, its body shrank rapidly and went back to its original size, then laid down in front of you. Turns out to finish the mission just now. It went all out, used every bit of its power. Such an extreme size increase was too much even for the Rat King to handle. But before it could catch its breath, a loud dragon roar suddenly exploded inside the Rat King's head. Its vision went completely black, and it lost consciousness entirely. Turns out you activated the innate Dragon Soul contract. After waiting in the warehouse for almost 10 minutes, the Rat King slowly woke up, but its eyes were empty and lifeless, like it had gone through something absolutely terrifying. The Dragon Soul contract you cast is a type of slave contract. Once the contract is completed, the powerful Dragon Soul will leave an indelible mark deep within the other party's soul. Ordinary creatures have very fragile souls. Plus, rats are extremely skittish. The Rat King just went through this whole process, so it obviously suffered a lot. But you can clearly feel right now that there's a strange new connection between you and the Rat King. It's a feeling of having full control over its life and death. With Boss Cat dead and the Rat King under your command, this big battle has finally come to an end. Right now, almost all of the Jinhai forces is completely under your control. Soon it was nighttime. You called all the leaders of the organization over to assign the next plan for the dragon's nest. The plan is you still need more evolution, so the forces need to expand outward. But before that, we have to take care of the hidden threats in the city first. Right now, except for us, all other forces in the city are nothing to be afraid of, but it's safer to have them under our control. If we let them develop as they please, who knows when they'll cause trouble? You don't want problems popping up in your base while you're out fighting? So this task is assigned to the Black Dog King. As for the Rat King, he'll lead the rat horde to scout out the situation in the outer city. Since we need these guys to work for us, we gotta give them some benefits first. So you simply took all the evolution points collected today and split them into 2 shares, and gave 1 each to the Black Dog King and the Rat King. The 2 of them were thrilled to hear this, and immediately thanked you in unison. But right at this moment, the Rat King suddenly suggested, if we're gonna expand our influence, if we just call you boss, it's pretty unimpressive actually. We need a badass title for you. The Rat King bowed his head and thought for a second, and he seemed to come up with a good idea. Since you're a dragon egg, and our group is called Dragon's Nest. So from now on, we'll all call you Sage Lord? What do you think? You don't really care what they call you, though. I picked the name Dragon's Nest back then, on a total whim. But if these guys want to call you that, let them do as they please. Even the fanciest title means nothing in front of absolute power. Bright and early the next morning, the Black Dog King gathered a huge pack of dogs and headed for the territories of other animal groups in the city. In just 2 days, those groups either surrendered or were wiped out. The Rat King, the day after the meeting ended, took all his underlings and left to scout for information in other cities. Fast forward 1 month later. Right now at the Dragon's Nest base, you're boredly checking your system panel. Over the past month, you've taken all the evolution points you collected each day and used them to cut down your hatching time. It went from 9,180 years originally to just over 8,000 years now. But you're still not happy with this speed, because in just this 1 month, several really weird things have happened. Besides the Rat King, over a dozen more mutated animals have appeared in the city. Some of them have the ability to boost their power by dozens of times instantly. Others have gained the ability to reach speeds that break their natural limits. Some have grown extremely powerful claws on their bodies that can easily tear through a wall. These animals seem to have mutated out of nowhere and gained power so strong they defy the laws of nature. You still haven't figured out the exact cause of these animals' mutation. Luckily, though, among the mutated animals, more than half are members of Dragon's Nest. The Black Dog King is one of them, too. With the help of him and several other members, they successfully took down those other mutated creatures. But just like the Rat King, when they use their abilities, they also need to use up a lot of stamina, so they can't keep it up for very long. Just as you were deep in thought, you were interrupted by a sharp voice. You recognized the owner of the voice immediately. It was the Rat King, who had been gone for a month. His body had gotten even bigger now, so he's obviously reached maturity. From what he told you afterwards, you found out what was going on in Deep Sea City. Deep Sea City is where you and Wang Xiaoheng used to live. You drove to the mountains to look for fossils back then. Then Wang Xiaoheng turned into an alligator-snapping turtle, and you turned into an egg. It took you several days to get to Golden Sea City, let alone go back to Deep Sea City. Right now, that city is occupied by a group of lions, and all of them have reached maturity. Their leader is someone who calls himself the Golden Lion King. He's actually just a mutated puma that got special powers. But the Rat King said his powers are really terrifying. He almost got caught when he went scouting. That made you really interested. After all, you lived in Deep Sea City for over 10 years, and it's not too far from Golden Sea City. It wouldn't hurt to go back and take a look. So that night you gathered all the leaders and announced that you planned to leave. All affairs in Golden Sea City will be handled entirely by the Black Dog King. The evolution points collected every day will also be kept by him temporarily. He'll hand them all over to you when you come back. Anyway, right after mutated animals started appearing in the city, you spent a ton of resources to put the Dragon Soul contract on all of them. That includes the Black Dog King, of course. So as long as the Dragon Soul contract exists, they won't dare to have any bad intentions towards you. The next day came quickly. On a highway on the outskirts of Golden Sea City, Wang Xiaoheng was slowly crawling along the road carrying you on his back. After more than a month, this weird pair of yours has once again set off on a new journey. But the wilderness has changed quite a lot now. The originally flat, straight highway is slowly being overgrown with vines. At this rate of development, In a few decades, the cities left behind by humans will be completely assimilated by the wild environment. You can see traces of all kinds of animals on the road, but almost no other creatures like you can be seen walking on the road, unless they're really fierce wild beasts. To get to Deep Sea City, this highway is already the shortest route. No matter what trouble you run into along the way, you have to tough it out no matter what. Before this departure, King Black Dog planned to lead half of the members for the escort mission. After you thought about it for a second, you flat out refused. Because with your current strength, you're not afraid of these wild animals at all. Besides, you don't even need to make a move. That guy Wang Xiaoheng is more than enough to handle this, though you're moving a bit slow. You're not in a rush anyway. Might as well let Wang Xiaoheng get some practice. But right at this moment, the voice of Earth's will sounded again. Mass detection of animals with unnatural abilities. Order will be reworked and improved soon. In 24 hours, everyone will unlock the full evolution path. At the same time, you can use tons of evolution points to activate your own special abilities. After killing animals with special abilities, you will get more evolution points. As the voice faded away, your mind was completely blown. Because the animals with unnatural abilities Earth's will just mentioned are definitely the same as the Rat King, the kind that have gained supernatural powers that go beyond the laws of nature. Does this mean that there will soon be beings that can threaten your safety? As you two continued on your journey, you ran into a lot of sneaking, attacking animals. But with your perfect teamwork, all attacks were easily taken care of. But when you passed a bamboo forest, a deafening, earth-shaking roar shattered the peace here. It was followed by dense, heavy footsteps, since the snapping turtle has pretty bad eyesight. You've been acting as the radar the whole trip, but just when you were about to use your divine sense to scout, a black and white figure suddenly darted out of the bamboo forest, yelling, "I'm finally saved." Then it hid behind you two without saying another word. But when you and Wang Xiaoheng saw this guy, your jaws almost dropped to the floor. Because its black and white fur, plus its iconic dark eye circles, it was obviously a giant panda. Most importantly, it could talk, which means it was transformed from a human. Before you could even process what was happening, 8 brown figures suddenly appeared, and all of them were imposing lions. When the leading lion saw the panda behind you, it let out a terrifying roar. That extremely piercing sound scared all animals within a few kilometers witless, causing quite a commotion in the area. The moment it heard the roar, the panda was so scared that it covered, its ears squatting on the ground, trembling. But right at this moment, the leading lion suddenly noticed there was an egg on the snapping turtle's back. Just one quick glance, and it couldn't take its eyes off it anymore. Who knew there would be a bonus surprise on this trip? If I take this egg back to the boss, it will definitely reward me handsomely. But just as the lions were about to charge all at once, a terrifying pressure crashed down. There was a loud thud, except for the leading lion. All the rest were pressed to the ground, as if they were carrying 1,000 tons of weight. The leading lion was also frowning tightly right now, as if it was in extreme pain. It clenched its teeth and struggled to hold on. You were completely stunned at this point. You didn't hold back at all just now. You used your full pressure right from the start. But this guy could still barely stand. But right at this moment, it suddenly let out a long roar towards the sky. Then its originally brown fur somehow started glowing with a scarlet tinge. Muscles on its limbs and torso bulged instantly, filled with explosive power. Its pair of billiard ball-sized eyes burst out with bone-chilling cold light. Wang Xiaoheng and the panda under its gaze felt frozen solid, as if they were targeted by something extremely terrifying. After its body finished changing, the pressure on the leading lion decreased sharply. It actually stood up straight on its hind legs and looked at you with a heavy gaze, asking what the hell you are, but you ignored it completely. Instead, you whispered to Wang Xiaoheng, who was below you. When the leading lion saw you ignoring it, it immediately flew into a rage. So it pushed off the ground hard with its hind legs and darted straight towards Wang Xiaoheng. Its sharp lion claw slammed down extremely fast, and its target was exactly the one on Wang Xiaoheng's back. But the moment it launched its attack, Wang Xiaoheng also moved immediately. Under your command, he climbed onto the panda's back at top speed as he yelled thunder body protection. The originally cloudless sky suddenly rumbled with a thunderbolt out of nowhere. In the blink of an eye, a golden thunderbolt crashed down violently. In an instant, the 50-meter area centered on you. It instantly turned into a sea of golden thunder, savagely destroying every trace of life force within the range. As the thunderlight gradually faded away, the originally dense bamboo forest now formed around you, a huge dead zone. The lion pride was now lying sprawled all over the ground. All signs of life in their eyes were long gone. As for the lead lion, it was the closest to the center of the thunderblast. Its fur was all fried and sticking outward, giving off a super nasty burnt smell. But what's totally unbelievable is, it didn't get electrocuted right on the spot. Instead, while you guys were still stunned, its body suddenly burst out with red light. Then a strong smell of blood hit your noses, which made Wang Xiaoheng and the panda feel a little disoriented for a second. When they snapped back to their senses, the lead lion had already turned into a blurry red shadow and was sprinting away into the distance. Seeing what just happened, you were absolutely shocked, because you could clearly feel just now that its aura was already starting to fade, yet somehow it still managed to run away. But what confuses you the most is, dragon power not working is one thing, but the heavenly thunder shield that once killed a T-Rex also failed to take it out. Even though it looked like it was super badly injured, it actually did survive. The heavenly thunder shield attack. In just one single day, 2 of your 3 ultimate moves have already failed. This is the first time since you turned into an animal that you've suffered a setback like this. Frustrating as this is, you still have to deal with the problem at hand. So you immediately activated Dragon's Rage. A fiery red 6-pointed star array formed right above your head in an instant. After spinning around a few times, it shot straight toward the direction the lead lion ran off. The second you noticed something was off, you locked onto its aura right away, just to make sure it couldn't get away. Once Dragon's Rage is activated, even if this bastard runs to the ends of the earth, it's definitely gonna die. Congratulations, host, you killed a mature mutated lion. 1,780 evolution points obtained. As the system notification sounded, you finally let out a sigh of relief. But what surprised you was, you actually got so many evolution points, all in one go this time. You know, the other lions you killed with Heavenly Thunder Shield only gave you just over 300 points. That's such a sweet haul. But right at this moment, you remembered the panda that was still there. After asking around, you found out he's actually an acquaintance of Wang Xiaoheng. His name is Li Da. The Li family used to be one of the top, wealthiest families in Shanghai City. But after that damn animalization apocalypse hit, he ended up looking like this. Then from what Li Da told you, you guys learned the actual situation in Shanghai City, and part of it actually involves Wang Xiaoheng. It turns out after animalization hit, those annoying lions occupied his family's big villa. This immediately made Wang Xiaoheng super nervous. It's no big deal if the house is occupied. Anyway, everyone's turned into animals now. It doesn't matter where you live. But what he cares about most is whether his parents have come back to Shanghai City. With their stubborn, old-fashioned mindset, if they find out the house is taken, they'll definitely fight those lions to the death. As Lida kept talking, you guys really understood how chaotic Shanghai City is. It turns out after the lion pride took over Shanghai City, at first they were just like the old vicious dog gang, making everyone turn in evolution points every day to build up their own power. Even though the herbivores were being exploited, at least they weren't in danger of dying. But once the Earth's will descended again, everything changed completely. No one knows which idiot suddenly found out a rule that completely destroyed the original living environment for all herbivores, because they found out that if herbivores are put in life-threatening situations the day before and manage to survive, the amount of evolution points they get the next day will increase by a lot. So the lion pride showed their true colors. They picked out the herbivores that produced too few evolution points each day, rounded them all up, and started chasing and killing them like crazy. In the end, only 1 out of 10 herbivores could barely make it out alive. But even though Shanghai City is this dangerous, you're not scared at all. Even though you just had a little setback, you didn't even use your full power. If 1 Heavenly Thunder Shield isn't enough, then just use 10 of them.